Kia ora, my name is Hugh Dixon. I'm the Data Manager here at Business and Economic Research Limited. Today I'll be talking to you about the importance of data for regional and local councils. In particular today I'll be talking about why data is important to councils. I will then be focusing the rest of my presentation on the importance of census data. To that end, I will cover today issues with the 2018 census, why census data in particular is important to councils, potential uses of census data to councils, two examples of how census data can be used by councils. Data is important to councils for the following reasons. Data provides a strong evidence base for councils to make policy decisions and to plan for the long term. Decisions can include what services and amenities different communities need now and in the future. These decisions can be made based on the population size as well as the demographic profile of communities. Data allows councils to monitor progress towards set goals or to monitor the magnitude of identified issues. These could include progress towards population targets or monitoring the size of state housing waiting lists. Thirdly, data can alert councils to new potential issues that could warrant either further monitoring or require the council to make decisions on the identified issue. This could include issues such as public transport usage, rates affordability, water quality, or traffic congestion. Before we move on to talking about the value of census data and the uses of census data, we should acknowledge the issues surrounding the most recent census. The largest of these issues to me was the low participation rate for the census. The issue required Statistics New Zealand to use administrative enumeration, or the creation of people and data variables from administrative data, to boost the overall participation rate and coverage to ensure most variables were of decent quality. Overall, the administrative enumeration process used by Statistics New Zealand was able to boost the quality of a number of the census data variables, but new or census-only data variables have been left in poor shape. These include the iwi and unpaid work variables, along with a number of family and household variables such as family composition and housing quality. So why is census data of value to councils? Firstly, census data provides us with an extraordinary volume of data with over 90% of the national population captured. In addition, the data contains a large range of household, family, employment, demographic, and other variables. Secondly, census data provides us with a number of unique data variables, including household data, family composition, occupation, spoken language, iwi connections, unpaid work activities, and people's highest work qualifications. Thirdly, and what I think is the key value of the census, is the ability for census data to be cross-tabulated across a wide range of variables. For example, you can get breakdowns of the number of people by age, sex, and qualification across different industries and occupations. You can get housing quality measures, which include mold, dampness, heating, and access to amenities, such as do people have a working kitchen or working electricity, by tenure of the household, and age composition of the household. Lastly, you can get where people live and work and how they travel to work. Lastly, census data covers a wide breadth of geographical spread, by which I mean there is plenty of data available on small townships and rural locations, rather than smaller survey data which focuses more on larger urban areas. Given the value of census data, we can move on to some ideas on how councils can use the available census data. To me, some of the uses include changes in residential population demographics, such as age and sex by location. This data can enable councils to identify where growth areas are and also identify what council amenities and services may be required in different areas. Household composition and income, which provides valuable insight into the size of households and where overcrowding may be occurring. It also allows for councils to monitor housing and rates affordability issues. Housing quality measures and household tenure, which enables councils to monitor dampness and mold issues in their houses, split across those that are rented or owned. Also, councils can use the level of households lacking access to internet, phones, heating, working showers or fridges. Traffic movement monitoring through understanding where people live and where they work. And lastly, travel to work and school transport modes, as well as people's access to motor vehicles, which can provide valuable insight into public transport usage, where public transport may be needed or where infrastructure or for other transport options may be needed. While there are numerous uses of census data, I will now run through 2 examples I have pulled together to show some of the uses of census data for councils. The first example is reviewing and monitoring of residential rates affordability using census data along with council data. To that end, councils would need the following census data: household composition data to inform councils on the number of households which, for example, are comprised of over 65s, sole parents, young families, couples with no kids, multi-generational families. Household income data, which can provide median and mean income totals for each household type as well as their income ranges. Sources of income data, which can provide councils with insight on the main sources of income for each household type. Lastly, household tenure, which shows how many dwellings are rented versus owned by each household type. Of course, for this census data to help provide insight into rates affordability, the council will need to combine it with their residential rates data at either the district, ward, or smaller statistical area. Undertaking this work to combine the above data would yield results that could look like this following table. As you can see, this table shows 5 different household types: the average household income, the count of the number of households, and lastly, the percentage of their average gross household income that is paid at 3 different levels of residential rates. These are lower quartile, median, and upper quartile. Using these 3 rate levels is best given the variance of rates paid across properties. Given that an approximate benchmark for affordability concerns is when rates exceed 5% of gross household income, we can see that the single superannuitant household, as well as the sole parent on a benefit household, would have affordability issues regardless of the level of rates, while only the couple with both adults fully employed would have no rates affordability issues. The second example is around assessing households and housing. For this, the census data that is useful is the number of dwellings, including how many are occupied and how many are empty, size of households and the relationship between household members, age and gender profile of households, household tenure, number of bedrooms, and housing quality measures, which include dampness, mold, heating, internet, and phone access, as well as whether or not the property has functioning toilets or running water. This data can be combined with housing consents data, population projections data, state housing waiting lists, and short-term rental data to enable councils to undertake a large number of different housing or household assessments, including the following: determining the level of overcrowding in homes, determining the level of housing quality issues, identifying growth areas and areas where more housing is needed, and determining the number of empty dwellings or dwellings occupied by short-term renters. The 2 examples I have covered today are only a fraction of the potential uses of census data for council planning both now and into the future. Thank you for listening.